So I, coming from Meharry Medical College, didn't really have a home orthopedic program, but I did get the opportunity to do some research after my first year with Dr. Lumen through an opportunity that WashU offers students at Meharry, where we came for a month. So I kind of had a little bit of exposure, but mostly just to the research side. So I knew that I wanted to do a rotation at WashU to see some more of the clinical aspects. And I remember at one of the grand rounds while I was here, Dr. O'Keefe kind of gave like a state of the department speech. And one thing that stood out to me that there was a very strong component of that addressed both diversity as far as racial diversity, but also gender and how many women that they had in the program. And I thought that it was important that he talked about it in the context of how is our department doing overall. And it wasn't just a diversity day, or there wasn't just a women's talk, but it was very much integrated into the program. And that was something that stood out to me. And I didn't really see that anywhere else in the country. And so that was one of the major things that drew me to WashU's program, for sure.
My first rotation was WashU, and it was the first time I'd been to the Midwest, or St. Louis, really. From born and raised in Southern California, and it was kind of took a chance going to the Midwest, but I'd heard such great things about WashU, wanted to come and check it out. And I think I was just kind of blown away by the collegiality and the just with the morning conferences, and then the connection between like the residents and the attendings. Those were two things that really stuck out in my mind, and just also having the dedication that the faculty put in towards the resident education. I didn't really see that at other institutions across the country. So those are kind of two big things that really played in my decision, and I'm really happy I came. I was actually pleasantly surprised. It's even better when you're here as a resident. So.
Obviously, proud New Jerseyan from the Jersey Shore. A lot of things. So I knew a resident who was here as an intern, went to med school together. So he kind of gave me the heads up that this was a place that I should definitely check out. I would say number one, the people seemed very genuine. They seemed like they were all here to be a part of resident education, which was important to me. I thought the location was also great for that stage of life where you don't have a lot of money and you need a lot of options, whether you're thinking about starting a family or whether you just want to live in an apartment by yourself. Really, any lifestyle that you want here is affordable and possible. So, it's easy to live here. Residency is really hard no matter where you go. And it's just easy to make St. Louis work. So all those things kind of played in.
One question that I would, keep at the back of my mind whenever I interview is, are the faculty and the residents, more diverse in race, in gender, and ethnicity, and religion, and thoughts, and sexual orientation than the status quo? And I use to qualify more because I think we all know that orthopedics is largely a homogeneous, space, a baseline. And I thought that it was imperative that I went somewhere where they didn't believe that diversity was a compromise on excellence. So that was important to me. When I came and interviewed, it was a little bit alarming because I walked into the first room, it was, I think, 3 or 4 women interviewing me, and I was a little bit shocked. And then, the PD is a woman, the associate PD is a person of color, the head of the VA is a Black man. You see, if you look at the website, the number of URM and female residents consistently rising. And then you have diversity in thought as well. You have a chair who, you see him as one of the few non-POCs at the Second Look weekend, speaking on advancing diversity. And I think that's testament to the fact that WashU is pushing, at least WashU Orthopedics is pushing the boundaries in that sense.
The straw that broke my back, if you will, that made me want to rank WashU number 1 was somehow one of the attendings I was working for, Dr. Rick Wright, who's now the chair over at Vanderbilt, found out that I was missing my brother's rehearsal dinner, and got my mom on the phone and had me change my flight a day earlier and leave St. Louis a day earlier. And, just thinking about seeing that from the top, the value that family plays, I knew that, although I was leaving my family on the East Coast coming out here, I had a whole another one waiting. So that was, for me, one of the most important pieces of WashU.
Yeah, and I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. So move to Missouri was not one that I expected, staying another 5 years, but I'm so excited that I made that decision. And the main thing that I saw on all of my missions and in all of my interactions with WashU, this really supportive community of residents and faculty. And that was something that was incredibly special. And from day one, I felt like I was accepted and part of the team. And that was something I was really looking for in a residency. And the second bit is that, like Nichelle said, there's this huge commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that is seen at the highest levels of leadership in our department. And that was something that was also really important to me. So I'm able to do research in asking equity questions and knowing that my department has my back in trying to create a more equitable culture in orthopedics overall.
I think the one thing that it comes down to here at WashU is the focus on education for us. And it's kind of 4 pillars, like you said, but we really get trained to be well-rounded surgeons, caretakers, leaders, and educators. And all of our education and interactions and preparation here is centered on making us leaders in the field and really strong, competent orthopedic surgeons.
For me, what makes WashU special is the culture. Explaining to my parents why I was leaving North Carolina to come to St. Louis to train to be orthopedic surgeon was kind of difficult, but for me, the best way to put it was that this was a true surgeon school. There's a true focus on, resident education, and a lot of places say that, but it's really genuine here. And, I was happy and privileged to be able to come out and learn to be an orthopedic surgeon here. And I think that's the primary thing that stands out for me is the focus on teaching us to be great clinician surgeons.
I think you have every opportunity to reach your ceiling as an orthopedic surgeon here, whether it's clinical experience, surgical volume, consult experience, research, leadership, whatever you want to throw out there. I think you have every opportunity here to become the best at it.
I'll let Dr. Klein give the parting words, but I'd echo everything that y'all said. For me, it's always been about the people and the culture. We can talk about the facilities, the clinical experience is unbelievable, but I don't think you have the combination of the breadth and depth of clinical volume, the excellence in research, but also just an amazing group of people that have come together and all have a really collective kind of goal, which is to really move orthopedic surgery forward. And that ceiling, to quote Michael Jordan, the ceiling is the roof. It's there really is no ceiling. It's the highest it could possibly be coming to a place like this. So, and the people are what make that happen. It's been a great place to be a part of for pretty much my entire orthopedic career.
Yeah, when I really reflect on this program, I think a lot about the residency program back when I was a resident. And what really amazes me is that the group of residents that we have today would have meshed perfectly with the residents that we had back then. We always seem to attract people who are hardworking and really motivated and interested in being really good at what they do. They all hold each other to a really high standard. Everybody wants the best out of everybody around them. And they thrive on that. The group seems to do well under those circumstances. So, I think all of us have kind of mentioned the culture to some degree, but in the end, I think anywhere you go for residency training, it's the people that you train with that make it the special experience that it is. Hospitals might have some unique features, but at the end of the day, the uniqueness of any program is in the people that are there.